Hey guys, Dee Dee here. How are we all doing? I hope you're doing well. So today's video, I thought I would go over what to do to prepare your houseplants for autumn and winter, because I know some of you, not all of you, this will be your first kind of season of autumn and winter with your houseplants, and you might not know what you should do to get them ready for the coming colder months. Okay, so one of the first things that you may want to do is repot your plants. Now, you're probably like, why would I repot my plants? So if you've had plants from the beginning of the growing season, which is kind of like early spring, your plant, if you fed it regularly, which I hope you did, should have done a lot of growing over the spring and summer season. So they should have put on a lot of growth, and because of that, they may need a repot. So they may have filled up that pot with roots, and the roots might be coming out the bottom, and they may need a repot. Now, you don't have to repot now, you can wait until the spring, it's totally up to you, but if you are noticing some plants, you know, that their roots are like properly sticking out of the bottom of their pot, which I don't think I have any at the moment, to be honest, except maybe my pilea, but you can't see the roots coming out of the bottom. I just know it's very root bound because I'm literally watering it every single day, so I don't think there's like any soil left. But I think, yeah, I've repotted actually most of the plants that need repotting. So don't feel like you have to repot your plants. You don't. You can wait until spring because they won't be putting on a lot of growth anyway during this period, but you know, it will give them time to kind of acclimate to their new pot and, you know, they'll be ready for the growing season next year. The second thing that you might want to consider doing is moving all of your plants closer to a light source. So with autumn and winter coming, which we're basically already in autumn, I don't know why I'm saying coming, because we are in autumn. Autumn happened like a couple of days ago, officially. So with the onset of autumn, obviously that means lower light levels, the sun rises later and sets earlier. So with that, that means there's not as much light available to your plants. And so if you have access to, you know, eastern facing windows or southern facing windows, consider moving all of your plants towards those windows. Now, I know a lot of you, or some of you, might not have access to those types of windows, or you do, but they're blocked out by buildings and things. What I can suggest is getting some grow lights. Now, you don't have to spend so much money on grow lights. I actually bought my first set of grow lights last winter because I noticed my plants were just looking a bit meh. Like we had a really dark winter last winter, and they just weren't enjoying life. They were struggling, they were on the struggle bus, and so I was like, alright, I'm going to get myself some grow lights, and I went down to Ikea and I picked myself up some 2 grow bulbs and 1 lamp stand, and I bought another one from Amazon, and it cost me like £40 altogether, I think, roughly. Maybe a bit less, but roughly £40. And they work really well. Like for me, they work really well. I know some other people have tried them, so I'll just show you here because I actually have it like right here. So I bought this, like this is from Amazon, and then obviously the light bulb is from Ikea? Ikea! I know on the advert they always say it's Ikea, so it's like stuck in my head, but I always want to still say Ikea. But anyway, so yeah, this is I think the Vaxer bulb. Obviously I that's probably not how you pronounce it, but you know, that's how I'm going to pronounce it. And I know a lot, ooh, that's hot. Obviously it's been on since like 7 o'clock this morning. I know some people tried this and it showed up pink. For me, like I'll show you, turn it on. Like it's not pink, there is a bit of a pink tinge, but it's mainly just, oh, it's like reflecting off the table. It's very bright light. So for me, it's just like a normal white light, and it does its job really well. Since I introduced these to my plants, they actually even started putting on growth. They were like, what? Is it even winter anymore? I highly recommend these ones because they've worked really well for me. I haven't tried any of the ones, you know, those like attachable ones from Amazon or anything, so I don't know about those, but you know, there's loads of people with videos out there that you can, you know, check and see what stuff they use. So the next thing you want to consider doing is increasing your humidity. When the heating's on constantly because it's freezing cold outside, the air gets really dry, and to help your plants along, you might want to consider, if you have your humidifiers, turn them on now, and if you don't, consider buying some. Now, you don't have to buy like a proper, you know, super expensive humidifier or anything like that. You can just buy, I think Amazon has like, you know, those little ones for like £15, something like that, and just like dot them around. Obviously it's depending how many plants you have. So I have 2 humidifiers. I've got my really big one with my, like, you know, the humid loving plants, like the proper humid loving plants, and then I have a really kind of like a little one, it's about that big, that I keep in here, and I'm going to start turning that on now. Pretty much it runs for 6 hours, but obviously it can run out before that. And yeah, it will just be a benefit to your plants, and it will also be a benefit to you, because I know in the winter, like my skin can suffer, like my nose suffers, like I get really dry nose, like a dry nose because of the dry air. So when I have a humidifier, it just helps me so much more. So, you know, it's the added benefit, you're helping your plant babies and you're helping yourself at the same time. So yeah, you don't feel like you have to spend, you know, like £80 on a humidifier. You don't. I mean, if you want to, go for it. But yeah, as long as you have a little bit of something, you can even try like a pebble tray. So you just get like, where are my trays? I don't have any of my trays. I have none of my things around me. What is going on? But yeah, you just want to get like a, you know, a saucer, fill that up with pebbles, and then put some water in it, and then put your plant on top. Just make sure that the water isn't high enough that the pot isn't sitting on it. So if I was to demonstrate, for example, you know, like imagine this was like filled with rocks, you'd put that on top, but you'd make sure that the water doesn't touch the bottom, because you don't want your plant wicking up that extra moisture, because that can then lead to, you know, bad things like root rot and your plant dying. So you can try that to increase humidity. You can even group your plants together and they will, oh, you shush, please. You can group your plants together and they'll create their own little like microclimate and humidity when they transpire. So those are a few options to consider. The next thing to also consider is, with the onset of, you know, the colder months and having our heating on and stuff, you don't want to place your plants anywhere near like a heating source, because again, that hot air will like damage your plants. So be mindful of where you're placing them. And again, when I said placing them near a window, like a light source, so your windows, make sure that you don't have any leaves actually touching that glass, because if you get somewhere that's really, really cold, that glass gets cold and that can cause damage on your leaves, and obviously we don't want that. Also check for drafts. So if you have drafty windows, check for that, and then again, maybe not consider putting your plants there, or consider getting, you know, that like draft tape to seal that draft up, because again, that cold air can damage your plants, and we're trying to, you know, help these guys limp along until the new growing season. The next thing you want to do is water less. A lot of our plants are going dormant, they're going to sleep, so they're not putting on a lot of growth, and with the less light, they're not using as much water, so they don't require as much water. So, you know, in the summer, you're probably like watering your plants a lot. Now is the time to reduce that. So I've started reducing the amount of water that I give. So how often and how much water, those are the key things. You want to like change those habits. So you want to change how often. So during the winter, usually it'll be about a week, maybe even 2 weeks, maybe even a month for some plants. So you just basically want to water them enough that they have enough moisture, basically. So you don't want to water them so that the water comes out through the bottom. You just want to give them a nice little drink. Now I know everyone waters different. It's just really difficult to kind of explain how much and how often to water, because again, we all live in a different environment and we all have different habits, and obviously, you know, there are different plants that have different requirements. So like a calathea, you want to keep her moist, okay? Because calatheas are finicky and they are very thirsty, so obviously you want to keep those moist. Like your peace lily as well, they still want a lot of water. But your other plants, you're going to want to reduce how much and how often, like I said. Again, good rule of thumb is just to check. Get your finger, stick it in there. If it's dry, give it a little bit of water. And yeah, that's it. You should be good. Like, don't be watering as you are now, because they will be sitting there, they're not utilising it, and it can cause root rot and your plant might die. And again, we don't want that because we love these guys. So yes, reduce how much and how often. The last thing is then fertilizer. So your plants, again, like I said, they'll be going to sleep. They'll be having their nice little winter rest. There are a few that won't be, like your poinsettias and your schlumbergeras, which is like your Christmas cactus or Thanksgiving cacti. They're not going to sleep. They're just getting ready to bloom. But all your other plants, you know, they will be kind of slowing down their growth rate, and because of that they won't need as much food. So if you have been fertilizing on a regular schedule, which again I hope you have been over this growing season, you want to basically stop. You basically want to stop fertilizing your plants over the winter because they won't be putting on any growth. That's really it. So main takeaways are: repot your plants, move them closer to a light source, consider getting some grow lights, reduce the amount of food that you're giving your plants, and increase your humidity. So turn on your humidifiers if you have them. If you don't, then buy some. And then lastly, reduce how often and how much you water. I can't stress that enough because I know you're going to see dry soil and you're going to be like, I want to water this plant, won't be using that water. So if you just keep watering them, it's bad, okay? It's bad for your plants. So yeah, get into the habit of thinking less. I need to do everything less, and then your plants, they'll be fine. Also, don't panic. I know it can be like, oh my god, my plant's not doing well. Like, why is it not doing well? What's going on? What's happening? It's fine. You know, they will lose leaves, there will be yellowing leaves, they will fall off. It's just like a natural cycle. Obviously, go through your checks, you know, the pest checks and your soil check if you have overwatered, or even if you've underwatered, sometimes that can cause stuff to happen. So just, you know, go through the checklist, and if there's still a problem, well, you know, sometimes that's just life. So yeah, just don't panic, take it chill, and yeah, do less. And yeah, that's it. I've been talking way too long now. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, you're more than welcome to. Have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you guys soon with another one. Bye!